So, and April is the cruelest month, reading lilacs. How to how sad. So, it's a special time for all of us to be embarking on this journey, on the sacred, through the amazing Veda. Because I just wanted to say, before Dr. Singh starts, and before I give you a sample, a little chant, I just wanted to say that we're going back to times before the organized religions were born. So we're talking about, 1500 or more years before the current era. And these are the, first scriptures of humanity. But it's a misnomer to call them scriptures because they were never written, they were orally transmitted until the last century, or just, the 19th century, when Max Muller and some other ethnologists, they published them, which was itself unprecedented because they were too sacred to be written down. So these were songs, compositions, hymns, if you will, which were composed by these rishis. Rishis are seers or sages or savants, and they created this entire mantric literature, the mantra, which is sacred sound, it's a vibration, right? And there were all these deities that they invoked in these chants. And, one of the roles that I've just assumed, thanks to Dr. Maria and Dr. Singh, is of the Shurabandhu chair. So this is a new initiative that we are doing through Access as well as Vedare University. And Vedare also comes from the Veda. It means to know. Okay, it's a Latin word, of course. But it is Sri Aurobindo who gave us the key to understand these ancient compositions. Because he said that all these deities that were in these compositions were not only external to us, like the sun, the winds, the rivers, the waters, the ocean, vegetation, and so on and so forth. Indra, for example, the wielder of the thunderbolt, a bit like Zeus, right, in the Greek tradition. So he said, he gave us the key or the clue that these were not just external, but all these powers and forces and potencies were also inside us. They're all within us. And so each human being, as it were, is equipped with all these forces and latencies and potencies. So the idea of these mantras was to, through this process of invocation, to actually release these energies and to empower us to realize our own potential. So today we're going to embark on this journey. It's called the Amazing Veda. And the person who's leading it, inspiring it, is Dr. Singh. He's been studying the Vedas on his own, but I think he's deeply inspired. And he's written a book. One of the books that he's written, The Veda Made Simple. Lenora can just hold it up if you don't mind, so you can take a look at it. And it's really a book worth reading, I can tell you, because I was reading it chapter by chapter as it was being produced. So through his own deep study and contemplation and meditation, he is going to unlock some of these secrets of the Veda for all of us. So I think it's a treat. But under the rubric or the matrix of the Amazing Veda, we would like to start, if you like, with your blessings, a regular, maybe monthly meeting where we dedicate ourselves to the sacred arts, poetry, sacred poetry. So the sacred is the underlying theme, the underlying commonality, right? So sacred arts, sacred literature, sacred poetry, and we've had mandalas here, we've had sacred chanting here. So I think this is a really good space to embark on this journey and to get in touch with the sacred within us. And so to give the example of Agni or Ignis, which Dr. Singh is going to talk about, we know that, this fire that we see outside, we see the sun as the source of all energy, at least for our planetary system. We also see the fire outside, but there's a fire inside us, right? And we all experience it. We also use it colloquially when we say, oh, I'm burning up so much energy on the treadmill. Each cell is burning energy, right? It's burning, fat or whatever. Dr. Maria knows better what it burns, but each cell is a powerhouse, right? And ATP and this and that, it releases energy. And there's energy at the physical level that we experience. And then you also know certain people, you're very attracted to them because they're so warm-hearted, you see. So there's energy in our hearts, right? Fire. Or you say, oh, he or she has fire in their belly, they want to accomplish so much. And then the spiritual energy is spiritual fire. So fire is external, it's also internal, it's a symbol. And it's so many more things. In fact, Dr. Singh is going to tell us that fire ignites the first love song in our history. Okay? So I've said a few things, now I'm going to invite Dr. Singh, but he told me that before I let you go, you have to chant. Now I'm a bit rusty. I actually belong to a family which is supposed to do these things, but you know how in modern times we let go of some of our most beautiful, precious traditions. So there were things I learned as a child, which I haven't quite gotten back to, but he's cracked the whip and he's made it conditional that speak less and chant more. But with your permission, so Om Ghananam Tva Ganapati Gum Havamahe Kavim Kavinam Ashravastamam Jeshtaraj Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Anashravan Ivi Sita Sadhanam Om Mahaganadhipataye Namaha Om Prano Devi Saraswati Vaje Garbhajadivati Dhinam Priyavatu Shri Ganeshaya Namaha Saraswatye Namaha Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om.
So, I'm going to ask you a question that's going to sound very stupid until you realize it's something more than what we really take it to be. So, how many people in this room have experienced sound? You have all experienced sound. Okay, so we're going to go through a little journey and then I'll ask you the same question if you've experienced sound. Okay? So it's very interesting. We have all kinds of traditions here, ancient traditions coming here. And so I want you to go back in time. This is our human memory, human heritage. So, okay, you're just going to listen to sounds. That's it. No religious, political, theological affiliation. Sound, human sound. Okay? So, first sound in most traditions is and so we're going to say We're going to learn how to say the but we're going to listen and feel it. So I want you to just say nicely with me. Okay, can anyone tell me where it's coming from? You said here. You said here. Okay, now we go back. Now you're going to intensify it. You're going to say Go ahead. Okay, where is it coming from? Aha! You're pointing here, you're pointing here. You're still here. You're here. Here. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to change and then you will see the difference. A. We're going to use the word A. Like pit or spit A. Like A. 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 Where is it coming from? A. Right? A. Let's intensify. E. Has it moved? Did it move? E. Okay, now. E. What happened? Did it change the position? It was somewhere here, some for feeling here. E. Where did the energy move? Feel it. E. Did it move? Did you know this?
Yes.
Did you know this before you came to this session? That's why you're here. So, sound is something far deeper than we realize. It is not. We hear sound very superficially. So let's go deeper into it. And it's experience. So you actually feel the energy. Okay, we're going to go to another sound which will be very common. All these are vowels and consonants in English. Nothing special. Let's go to oo. So let's say oo. Oo. Now let's intensify it. Ooh. Where is the sound? Ooh. Right? It's coming out. So, E, oo. I've just introduced two to three of the vowels in the English language. But when we go to sound at its smallest unit, and we spend time with where it's coming from when the world changes, the dimension of sound is unique. We only take sound as a means of communication, like I'm doing now. I'm trying to communicate. But if you go back to it, sound is something much more. It meant much more to our ancient forefathers and foremothers. I just wanted to get that in.
Yes.
Foremothers. Very important. So the sound, the unit of sound, are a way to reach knowledge. They're not just a means to communicate. To our ancient forefathers, ancestors, and foremothers, sound was a means to reach knowledge, to understand, to feel the world. And if we can reach that point, suddenly a new world opens up. And a lot of it you will understand. When the baby is uncomfortable, what does the mother do? Mother will sing a lullaby. Baby has no idea what the mother is singing. Words have no meaning. There's only a sound and presence. And what happens to the baby? Relax. It's the effort of, this is just the influence of sound. So let's go back to our sounds. E, oo. Now did you notice that what part of your mouth did your tongue touch when you said E, oo? Did you touch anything?
No.
Okay, now let's try M. Did anything touch anything else? Did you touch something? Can you do it without touching? Can you do that? No. Let's do in English sound. Let's do the. Those who are familiar with Spanish can say that. The. What is it? What are you touching? You're touching the teeth, back of the teeth. Okay. Good. Let's say Italian sound will be ch. Can you say ch? Ch. Where is the tongue touching? Ch. tongue is touching the palate. Sh, right? So, and let's say ka. Let's say ka. Ka. Where is it coming from? Ka. Where is it coming from? So there's a science to where the sounds come from. There's a science to the sounds that we do not need any touch. And there's a science about how we feel about the sound. Okay? So that is the science that our ancient arts practiced, whether it was in music, whether it was in poetry. That's where poetry comes from. Poetry is not just rhyming like we did in our college, you sat down and wrote some verses. So if we appreciate that, this is just the introduction to the experience of sound, then we will go further. Okay? So if I say ma, what comes to your head? Ma. Instinctively, no meaning, ma. Mom. Mom, why? Any reason why it should come to mom? Mom. In Sanskrit we say matri. In Latin we say mater. In English we'll say mom. In Hindi we'll say ma. In Tamil we'll say amma. And I can give you at least 70 languages that have the same beginning or same root sound. So these are called seed sounds. Every sound is a seed, and every seed has a feeling. Okay? So let's do another sound, just for the fun of it. Pa. Pa. What comes to your head when you say pa? Father. Papa. Right? Pa. Pater. In Latin is pater. In Sanskrit it's pitra. In English pap. In Hindi will be pita. Right? In German, Vader, that pa became va. The Darth Vader. Remember the Dark Father? The va comes, pa became va. Pater became Vader. So the genius of our sounds, and if you go to the ancient Hebrew languages, you say shalom, you might have heard the word shalom. It comes from root sounds, 3 root sounds, sh, la, ma. Ma again we have practiced, it's the end. So because it's the end, the last sound gives a sense of completion. Mother is obviously for the baby, end of the universe, the end, completion. So every sound has a psychological impact. Okay? So why do we have alpha, beta, gamma as the beginning of Greek alphabets? In English we have A, E, I, O, U. In Arabic we have Aleph, Be, Pe. In Sanskrit we have A, E, E. Every alphabet seems to start with A. Some instinctive knowledge was there that is the first sound. If we're going to go back, we can talk about for the next hour, but I'll make it a sound bite. Is the sound that seems to come from here. And every other alphabet has a sound in it. Any sound you say. Ta, da, pa, cha, ya, la. Every sound has a in it. So it is the first sound. It is supposed to be the first sound. And it has a different feel to it. It seems to come from your heart. Now, these feelings were very important. Remember, our ancient forefathers who were exploring the world. They didn't have a theory given to them. They didn't have quantum physics. We didn't give them, these are the books we read them. They were experiencing it. How did they experience it? So to them, they're very sensitive to the sounds. Seemed to be the beginning. Seemed to be everywhere. So begins the languages. Most languages, alphabets still come with And science has tried to connect these languages. Linguistics has tried to connect. And it's called the Proto-Indo-European group of languages, which means Europe, Middle East, the Indian subcontinent, even Ireland, even East Europe, they share the same sounds and languages. That is a very interesting thing. So Sanskrit and Latin and Greek are connected somehow. And we'll just quickly go over so you can appreciate even now our languages are very deeply connected. So I'll try to work this. And today is just to experience the sounds. I don't know, did I do the right thing, Lenore?
It's upside down.
This? I'll let you play with it. So the first word of our first poem in human history is Agni Suktam. Agni is a word that you're quite familiar with. If you don't know that yet, can you give me? Yeah, okay, that's good. Agni. Have you heard this word before, Agni?
Yes.
You have. You're Greek. We're going to come to that. That's very important.
In Greek, it means pure.
That's a very good thing you said. So we're going to come back to that. Anyone else has heard Agni before? Did anyone know my previous manager at Summit? Agnes. You know what Agnes means? No cheating. Agnes means fire. So, and Agnes was a fiery one. Agni means fire. First word in the first poem of humanity, Agni. We are still using that word, Agnes. If I say you have to ignite this world with more knowledge, ignite. You've heard that word before, right? Ignite, where do you think the word came from?
Ignition.
So ignis is a Latin word, Agni. Okay. Greek word, what is the Greek word?
Agni, pure.
Pure.
And of course, for something to be pure, fire purifies.
Okay. So,
It's connected.
thank you. So Agni means fire in Greek. Do you know the 5 elements? Everyone knows the 5 elements, right? The ground, the earth, water, air, sky, and fire. Which element is an element that can never be contaminated? Water, can you contaminate water? Earth, air, fire, you can never contaminate fire. Fire is the pure one. So they did not identify things with words. They identified a function with the word. For example, Agni means that which is rising upward. One of the meanings is Agni. And I'll go over that. We're going to practice this. Agni means that which is going up. And if you have experienced fire, I'm sure you've always lit a matchstick, where does Agni move? Always upward. You go like this, it'll go upward. It'll burn yourself. Put it somewhere else, it'll always go upward. Unique quality of Agni. So poets use these. So Agni means that which is going upward. And now you can start seeing how you're going to connect it with the human life, aspirations, dreams, growth, that which is always going upward, that which is always pure. It looks at qualities, not at things. In ancient languages, you'll find 100 words for fire. We have a very precise word for fire. There are 100 words for the quality of the fire. So purity has a different word. That which is rising upward has a different word, and that word is Agni. So we'll start with Agni. And Agni has various meanings now. Now it opens up. But let's go back to the sound. G, G, N, E. Okay, tell me where the sounds have moved. Upward. See the subtle psychological connection in the body itself. They are experiencing the sound while they're trying to communicate the meaning. Before the word meaning came, before they started thinking about it, they felt them. And on the basis of the feeling, the words came out. So with the M sound, when you say mortality, muerto, where you find common words, right? Mrityu in Sanskrit. Ma will give you that root sound had a significance that will go to different words, create different words out of that root sound. And so out of that ma, which is the end, comes also death, which is the completion, the end. So the same sound, the significance of ma, mother being the end, mortality, muerto being the end. So Agni is an experience. Suddenly you reach, instead of connecting with it intellectually, you start reaching an experience. And those who love music know that music has no mental meaning. Music is this perception of sound. Our languages started with a perception of sound. And the reason Veda is very interesting to me is Veda is the first poetry of humanity. And it has a lot to teach us even now. Those who love poetry will start appreciating the fact that poetry starts going from meaning finally to the art, which is the sounds, the feel of the poetry. If I say, tiger, tiger burning bright in the forest of the night, what do you get a sense of? Tiger, tiger, burning bright in the forest of the night. He's taken a hammer and he's hitting you. The rhythm changes. But if I had said, Makaranji, give me a poem that has a different meter. April is the cruelest month. This is Eliot. April is the cruelest month, breathing lilacs out of dead earth? Very my Eliot. April is the cruelest month, breathing lilacs out of dead earth. Different meter. But the meter is the meaning, the sound is the meaning. So now we will go back to chanting. So the chanting, the fun part in chanting is you layer sound over another kind of sound and another kind of sound. And meaning comes at the end. Now, why is it important? First thing which we all could do is start listening to each other perhaps a little bit more carefully. Often the words that are used, you will see every word, onomatopoeia, right? You know, certain words sound clap, bang, shot. You know, all these words have their own significance. But if you go deeper, this is far subtler. And if we can start listening to the subtlety of the sounds, then we also become subtler. We also start paying attention to ourselves. We also start paying attention to the world of sounds. And if we can start listening, our awareness becomes purified. Mind is not running in 100 directions. We start experiencing something different. So then sound becomes a dimension of learning, which is how it was in our ancient arts and sciences. If you go to, say, Gregorian chants, if you go to the Latin chanting, ancient Judaic Hebrew sounds, they were a means to experience. They were not a means to give you mental knowledge. Mental knowledge is fleeting. But once you have experienced it, you will have a different appreciation. Once you have tasted sugar, it is different from me just telling you sugar is sweet. Right? Once you have experienced it, you know it yourself. That is the personal experience that becomes important. Okay, so I'm going to, can you give me the words, there it is. Okay, so I'm going to bring you something else that is very interesting. This is the first line of our first poem. Although there will be Makarand will say, no, this wasn't the first poem. This is the first representative poem. That's okay. We can historically, but it's the whole collection. In the collection, this is put as the first poem. And the first sound is Agni. I'll tell you, in this first line, you have 4 words that you're still using in English. Agni, I think everyone agreed that Agnin, igneous, ignite, right? Greek, you're all carrying those sounds. Look at the sound P-U-R-O-H-I-T-A-M, Purohitam. Have you heard that before? No. But if I asked you to get on your VPN portal, if you're leaving, please go through that portal. That will be a little effective. But when you leave, use that portal. Portal is a door.
Porch.
Porch.
Spanish.
Porta. So, the front is the purata. That sound we are still carrying. After what? Almost at least 4,000 years, we are carrying that sound. You are still connected to the first poem of humanity. And this was humanity without any divisions. They didn't know that they belonged to a certain nation or class, or there was no factionalism at that time. They were not divided like we often are. But if you connect to our origin, then you realize there is something there that is connected to us even now. So let's take another word, Deva, D-E-V-A-N. Have you heard that before? Deva. If I told you that, give me an actress who's famous now, Lenora?
Diva. Divine.
Who's that? Taylor Swift? I got that name. I don't know who she is. Okay, there's a diva. Deva. Deva is that which is bright. From that has come the word diva. Divine. I had a divine experience. Hopefully you'll all read this as I had a divine experience. Right? We are still using it. Why? What does divine mean? That which is bright, full of light. Okay? We are still using that language. Rit. Ritvijam. Right. Did you get that? Rit. Have you heard Rit before? I gave you a hint.
Right.
Right. I gave you a hint. R-I-G-H-T. I will give you another hint. Right.
R-I-T-E.
R-I-T-E. Those who are connected with medicine, rectus abdominis. You know what rectus abdominis is? He's checking his belly. Rectus is that which is straight. Rectus is a muscle in the abdomen. Right? So, 4 words, and there are more actually, 2 more, but I won't complicate it. 2 more words in that first line that we are using even now. We are not that far. 4,000 years, we are still carrying that original approach to sound.
We still have that rectitude.
Rectitude. Righteousness. Or you remember we want to be right. Follow the straight and narrow. We've heard that phrase before. Where does that come from? Straight and narrow. Straight. Right. Follow the straight. That comes from the word righteous. Righteous comes from that which is straight. Well, what does that mean? Rit, which is R-T, two sound. It's the order of the universe. The order of the universe. And so where is the order? You woke up this morning, didn't you? Did you expect the sun to rise, the light to be full of light? Or you said, no, I don't know, anything might happen. It might become dark suddenly. You are here, you're expecting it to become darker. Why are you expecting it to become darker? There's no one wrote a rule that it's going to become darker. That is the order. You're going to become hungry. There's a pattern. You're going to go to sleep. You're going to be tired. You're going to go to sleep. There's a pattern. You're going to wake up and tweet. There's a pattern. Sorry, ignore that. Sorry, Dr. There's a pattern to the universe. There's a natural rhythm and cycle. Cycle to the universe. That is the rhythm you're connecting to. And what is this rhythm coming out of? That which is inexpressible, that which is ineffable, has manifested in a very ordered manner. So, we are all trying to reach that which is inexpressible, the ineffable. But how do we connect with it? You cannot connect with that which is unmanifest because you are manifestation. How do you connect with it? To realize that that unmanifest has expressed itself, himself, herself. Because really, I can't give any gender to that which is not manifest. In an order. That is the beauty of this universe. This universe is an order. So if we appreciate and experience the order, we are closer to that which is unmanifest. We come closer to the unmanifest by experiencing the manifest. That is the genius of at least their understanding. Now, if I said to you that Agni has other words, and since you have a Greek background, give me another word that comes with the same root as ag.
Ideal.
What does that mean?
Saint.
Say that again.
Saint.
How do you pronounce it?
Ios.
Ios. What about a word called agape?
And
What does agape mean?
love.
Agape means love. What kind of love is agape?
That is all encompassing love. There are many different kinds of love.
Okay, well, tell me what kinds of love we have.
Oh, we have brotherly love.
What is that called?
That is called Philadelphia.
Philadelphia.
Right.
Sounds so beautiful. What about the most romantic, passionate eros, right? Eros? Okay, what about the love that you have for yourself?
That is self-love, after agape.
What about Philautia? Is that a word?
Yeah, it just means friendship, you know.
Right. Okay. What about Storge?
That is a very powerful love.
Powerful love. So multiple levels of love. Here, agape means pure love or divine love or love for everyone. So the seer starts with the first line, I love Agni. That is what he's saying. Agni ide. I love Agni. Now the sound la, which you will appreciate, we still use in English for the word love. Still using the root sound. Don't ask me to connect it to the original la sound, because that's a little complex. But he starts with saying, this is the beginning, first statement, I love Agni. Agni has multiple meanings. It can have agape. It can be just an external fire. It can be ignition. It can be the sharp intelligence in the brain. It can be the drive, willpower to do things. It can be energy. It can mean so many because it's a symbol. A symbol can have multiple significances. And that is, of course, poetry. Those of us who love poetry know that poetry has multiple meanings and multiple layers of experience. So, Agni. Now, do you want to hear the sound, how it was pronounced? So, there are two ways to pronounce it. You can just read it, in which case I will read it as Agni Purohitam Yajnasya Devam Ritvijam. That's nice rhythm, you can probably appreciate that. But if you chant it, they've added another layer of sound to it, in which the voice starts going up and down. How much time do I have, Lenora? I will keep it another 5 more minutes and then I'll stop. I'm just going to chant it, just experience it, and ignore the meaning. It's probably good that you don't know the meaning. You can just hear it and see and feel what it is. So this is how you pronounce it. Agni ire purohitai yajnasya deva vijam Otaram ratnadatamam. This is the sound. Now, the vibratory sound, which our languages have, takes you to a different feel. And if we can appreciate the vibration, so remember we said a, ooh. Now I'm going to make you say 3 sounds quickly, okay? Ooh, ooh, What happens? With ma comes a vibration, right? Ooh, So, the vibration is brought to your face, your sinuses, your head. Now you are into a vibratory mode. So, if you say shalom, where does it end? Shalom. Shalom. The ancient sounds, you're saying peace to everyone. But the vibration is in your own body, you're feeling it. You're not just saying, okay, have a great day. Have a great life. You're experiencing, and that experience is coming out. And you're experiencing in the root, the very unit of the sound. So this is why the Indians started with using Om as a very special sound. It became a very special sound. You can experience it. It has no people. Later it became a religious kind of representative. But that's the root. And then silence. So there are 4 sounds that make it. Ma, and then silence. Silence is probably the most important sound. If we can be silent, then that allows us to settle. So you will see that language suddenly becomes something far subtler and deeper as you experience it. So I think I can stop now. I don't know if I've run out of time, but that is I wanted to introduce. And I did want at some point I wanted to start some more classes on the sound, but I think we can stop here and let you absorb the sounds. So the silence that comes after a conversation is the best part of it. Thank you. Questions? Do you have any questions?
Oh, how is it the first love song? Everybody came for the love song.
Okay.
Bring that up.
Okay. Good question. So, this is my interpretation. Agni is the first expression of love. I love Agni. I adore Agni. Agni could be just fire. Maybe he had a friend whose name was Agnes, I don't know. But Agni, in a very deep sense, means the love that we hold in our hearts. This is my understanding, that Agni meant pure love. So, the Rishi, at least I'm sure they realized at that point the most important emotion that connects us to the divine is a love that transcends our human limitations. How do you reach that? And the sound agape, ag, is the word that comes with Agni. The feeling comes from the heart, and it has been interpreted as the pure love that we have in our hearts. So the first acknowledgement of humanity. Now all these are different interpretations. Fire, without fire we won't be eating food. As you know, that fire was a very important symbol for humans. It transformed humanity from very ordinary, primitive living. Suddenly fire became a protection against beasts. Fire was nutrition, helped you cook. Fire gave you comfort, heat. All these things that we have today are because of fire. Electrical activity, electrical energy, mechanical energy, all that is, if you go back to it. And now those who know quantum physics, everything is energy. Even matter is energy. And so, where do you separate it? Yes, so that's a very deep meaning. And, you have to ignite your brain, so that's a very deep meaning. Creative inspiration, that's all very deep meaning. The sun gives us all the energy, so we are connected. At each point we are connected. This universe is connected with that energy. But I think the deepest meaning that I can ascribe to it, we can go to the next word, next slide, is that Agni means divine love. And so he honors the divine love. Somewhere they cut what this divine love is. So he says, I love. Can you give me the original slide, Eleanor? Yeah, that's it. I adore the divine love. I honor the divine love. And ile is multiple meanings too, because languages, or traditional old languages have multiple meanings to the sounds. Because as you know, the sound can have multiple significances. Purohitam, that leads me. This love inside me leads me. Very interesting thing to say. That which is inside you is your leader. You think your brain is the leader. It's not. Something else is leading you. All that you have done in your life, why did you do it? You think I planned it, I sorted it out, everything was no. Something came as you, lived as you, and has brought you to this point and brought you here. Why? You didn't do it. I can assure you, I didn't do this. Like Yogi Berra, I never said the things I did. So, it is my leader, the guiding force. Yajna is a very interesting word. Yajna is a sacrifice. Sacrifice in Latin means to make sacred. Right? Sacrum facere. Those who know their Latin can correct me. But to make sacred, to sacrifice, means you're giving everything to the divine, and the divine makes it sacred. You offer everything to whatever divine image or understanding you have, and it becomes sacred. So, the mediator, it mediates. This is the love that mediates. with the universe, with the unmanifest, the one who brings fulfillment. Actually, Ritvijam means the one who has the bliss of truth. Where do you have the bliss of truth? Why do you do right things? Why do you feel happy when you have helped someone? Something in you is satisfied when you do the right thing. The bliss of doing the right thing. That is what that word means. Very deep. And the more I read this, the more I'm fascinated. How do these simple, elegant people, refined people understand all this? Takes us back to our deep understanding. Hotaram is the one who invokes. Hot, you will see the one, her sound is an invocation. Whenever we say her, Hotaram. Ratna Dhatam. Ratna is jewelry, gems. The riches of life are brought to you by this divine love. So, this is the first couplet. It's not really a couplet, two-liner from the first poem of humanity. Of course, there are 9 couplets, so we can go over that, and the whole entire Rig Veda is 10,500 such couplets. But I'm just touching it, and it's absolutely gorgeous, and I hope you appreciate. If I translate it, I love agape in your language. I love that pure feeling. That is my leader. That makes me pure. That gives me the divine light and has the bliss of truth. It invokes the highest and bears all the riches of life towards me. Just in 3 small stitches or sticks, they have brought in a deep meaning. That is the wisdom we started with. No wonder poetry can carry so many meanings that we don't miss out in our usual language. So I thank you for that. I wanted to bring that up. Yes, ma'am.
When I said the word agios before, meaning saint, it is also someone who is sacred, something sacred.
Yes.
And saints are depicted with
That
a
light.
bright halo,
Yes.
a golden halo above their head. So that fits in very much with everything that you're talking about, with that emanation
Yes.
of the purity and the connection with the divine.
How do you spell that word?
Agios.
Agios. Agios. Now, again, go back to subconscious, what we are carrying. The word diablo, devil. I'll give you sounds. Duality, divided. What is the connection? Duo, split. Right? It has, sounds have an influence on her. That which was split to them was bad. Right? That which was full of light was good. And you can imagine how light went. Even today, the divine is div, is light, the bright one, right? You will never, usually darkness is evil, light is a representative of the divine. That's how we are carrying in all our religious traditions, almost all, unless St. John of the Cross converted darkness into a journey. Even that was a journey of purification. But light is good, light is true, light is the divine. Darkness is bad, it's evil, and it's the devil.
And black and white.
Black and white. So that is what we carry. If we are carrying those messages even now. And fire comes in almost all religions. You will see it in different Pentecostal fire, that has a different significance. In the Jewish tradition, fire, the spark, the divine is a spark in you. If you go to the Hasidim, the divine is a fire, spark in you. And in Islam also, God is light and the devil is darkness. God is made, the body is made of light. That is their way. So at least this is how our ancients thought, and we are still carrying that language, the symbols, the significance.